Our time in Jaipur when we weren't doing wedding things was spent either sitting in the hotel room, gossiping, or going out shopping. We stayed in the Hotel Mansingh and it was very grand. And like all good hotels, it had a cow statue, the holy cow. And the pool was very nice too, although we didn't ever get time to take a dip. Here we are at one of the bazaars, looking down from an upstairs shop. Motorbikes everywhere. This was the flower section of the market where they put garlands together and sold them. This is a man threading up a garland using roses and marigolds. The buildings for the market were beautiful as well when you looked above the shop fronts. This was the Breeze Palace in Jaipur. This was a doctor's surgery. Just walk in and take a seat and wait your turn. And next door was the pharmacy. Looking along the market, very colourful. Lots of monkeys around. The locals don't like them much, but they were novelty for us. A seed shop for growing all your vegetables. And this is how they sold oil. Came in pressed and then got labelled out. Shopping in India is an experience. A man stands up on that platform and the women sit down and they point to various packages and the man gets them out and shows them to them. And it seems to be the more you get out the better. They're laying everywhere, everything you want to look at. Now this was a little outfit for about a 6-month-old. These were bridal skirts, very ornate, very blingy. Same again. This is a pile of saris that someone has to put back together at the end of the day. When you've made your choice, you don't simply pay for it and take it. You go downstairs to this counter and that's where you got the docket outlining what you bought. Then you go to the office and that's where you pay for whatever you've bought and do the bargaining. And then when you've paid for it, you take your docket that's been stamped to this counter and pick it up. While we were in Jaipur, it was a Muslim sorrow day, mourning day, and they made this tazia as part of their ceremony. This was a shop next to a temple where you buy garlands and sweets to offer the gods. We caught up with a lot of Nitya and Preeti's extended family while we were in Jaipur. Family, there's no differentiation. Family is family, whether it's first cousin, second cousin, or what, they're all family. So we visited this family in their home and that was interesting. They took us to a local bangle manufacturer or bangle shop. And as usual, everything came out, but I'm not sure that much got bought. The next day we went and visited one of Neelam's sister-in-laws and her grandchild, and then it was time to get packed and ready to go. Getting all our luggage and shopping in the car was going to be a challenge, and there's always about 5 times as many supervisors as workers in any Indian situation. Everyone telling everyone else how to do the job. This is India's version of a takeaway cup with lassi.
You think that I don't even mean a single word I said. It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away.
That was road trip India style, travelling through rural India with a car full of Indians listening to the Bee Gees. This was a little roadhouse that we stopped at to have lunch. This was where we stayed, Preeti's brother's house in Dholpur. Rajiv lived there with his wife Rachna, his son Sunny and his daughter-in-law Rupali. A very grand house by anybody's standards, especially by Indian standards. Looking down towards the family, the floors are all marble, which is amazing. The formal lounge room with plenty of seating for about 40 people. Upstairs, the laundry area. The family run a school for 500 children and these are the school buses to pick them up. Views of the house. the front lawn with the house cows that they use for milk, and the milk makes the yogurt and the paneer, which is a Indian cottage cheese that they use in a lot of dishes. Coco, the family dog, who loves to eat bananas. So we're up to Thursday the 6th of October, and we visited some of the local sites in Dholpur. This was a place called Muchkund. It was an old pond with palaces and temples, etc. around. Beautiful place. Almost unknown to foreign tourists, so we were a novelty there. It's just amazing, the architecture and the way the buildings last for hundreds and hundreds of years. Very ornate doorway there. We went to a Sikh temple, and it was the birthday of their Sikh founder, and we had food with them, and that was such a novelty that we made the local paper. Part of Sikhism is to have to keep your head covered, so we had to wear these scarves. Then we visited another temple, and this is a bell-ringing, drum-beating machine. The views from the temple were amazing, and this was the priest that looked after the temple. That afternoon we took a jeep and went to the Chumble River, which is close by to Dholpur. Up the river is a bird sanctuary, a wildlife sanctuary, so we took the boat up there. We didn't see the freshwater dolphins, unfortunately, but we did see crocodiles and gharials, which are the long, thin-nosed crocodiles of India. The scenery was absolutely beautiful. Dholpur is in Rajasthan, so there's very desert-like country. And this river is the border between Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Unfortunately, the car got bogged on the way out. And as always, there's lots and lots of people to help and supervise and tell you what to do. We got the car out eventually, which was good. So we checked out some of the sand hills with spectacular scenery. And on the top of the hills we found this temple. Nitya befriended the cow, and then one of the holy men came out to milk the cow. They rely heavily on the cow's milk for their vegetarian diet. One of the cows took a liking to Alexander. He not only befriended the cow, but the local holy men as well, and we had chai with them. On Friday, before we headed to Gwalior, we went to visit the school. We went to all the classrooms. Some of the little ones were tiny and fell asleep. The older ones all stood up and welcomed us and said good morning, and they were very well behaved. 500 kids are taught there up to grade 6. Gwalior was only about 50 kilometres away, but it took us an hour to get there. This is the Sun Temple, a beautiful Hindu temple, very ornately carved, as most of them are. Interesting sculptures, horses, because the temple's built like a chariot, you can see the wheel behind. Then we went up to Gwalior Fort. It was beautiful, amazing, and again it's a fort that's not necessarily on the foreigners' list of places to go, so it was quite interesting. Looking down at the town of Gwalior, some of the roof supports, that's a peacock. There are others that were elephants. Looking out of one of the windows down to Gwalior, and this was the daughter-in-law temple. There were two temples, the mother and daughter-in-law temples. Fee and Nitya climbing up through the mother temple. It was nice up there because the breeze came through. And Nitya and Alexander climbed even higher in the temple. Then we went to City Palace, to the museum there, and that was quite interesting too, all about the local dynasty and what they'd achieved and what they'd done in their time there. Beautiful screens, and the close of yet another day.